Hello, welcome to the first paragraph of chapter 5, which is about migration in the world. In this chapter, we're going to look at ways and reasons why people tend to migrate across the planet. And in this first chapter, we are going to look at reasons for migration. So I'm going to show you the following things. First, we will look at the difference between internal and external migration. So what's the difference between that? I'm going to show you what an emigrant is and what an immigrant is and what the difference is between the two. Labour migration, refugees versus asylum seekers, family reunification and family formation, chain migration and migration networks. So that's everything that I'm going to show you in this paragraph. First of all, what are internal and external migration? First of all, when you look at internal migration, you're looking at migration within a country. Migration is nothing else than movement of people. And for example, if you live in Lelystad and you're going to study in Amsterdam, you might want to live there. You're moving from Lelystad to Amsterdam, and then you are an internal migrant because you stay within the country. But if you are going to study in Belgium, for example, that means that you have to live there, and then you're leaving our country, and that means that you move from the Netherlands to Belgium, and then you are an external migrant. So that's the difference between the two. You stay in the Netherlands, it's internal migration, and if you move out, then you are an external migrant. But what is then the difference between an emigrant and an immigrant? Because those words tend to be the same, but they are not. It's very important that you look at your point of view. So where are you at this part? Where are you living? Where do you want to go and live? And what means that for the fact if you are an emigrant or an immigrant? For example, I live in Belgium and I'm going to move to the Netherlands. Seen from the Netherlands, I'm an immigrant because I moved from a foreign country. But in Belgium, I am an emigrant because I'm moving out. The same counts for the picture that's on the bottom of this slide. You see someone who is moving out of Italy and moves to Australia is an emigrant in Italy and an immigrant in Australia. But when I look from the other way around, it changes. So it depends on your point of view. And have a very close look at that because that's very important. If you get a source in your test which shows you migration, always look from the country from someone is moving out. That's a bit more easy than when you're looking from our country or the other way around. Well, then there are of course reasons for people why they are migrating, and labour migration is one of the most important things at this point in time. In Europe, many people tend to move to other countries because of labour migration, and there's a reason for that. People want to migrate because of their job. If you are going to work in another country, this is called labour migration. And of course, we all know that there are lots of people who came from Poland to the Netherlands to work here when Poland became part of the European Union after 2004. So that means that people who are living in the European Union and want to work somewhere else are migrating as well, because there's a reason for that, and that is, in this case, work. But these people, of course, are not asylum seekers or refugees. These people are very different. Because a refugee is someone who has to flee from his mother country. He fled his mother country because of a war, politics, religion, all kinds of things, why it was not safe anymore to stay there. And he had or she had to move because of that. And in that case, it's pretty clear what the reason was why this person had to flee. But if it's not clear, then you're talking about an asylum seeker, and that is someone who wants to get recognition that he or she is a refugee. But that is not proven yet, and this takes some time. We have to find out the reason for that, and so that means there's a big difference between the two. And you can see on the graph below that there are reasons to be found why people want to move. And of course, recent wars showed reasons why people wanted to migrate from, for example, Ukraine to Europe, to the other countries of Europe. And on the other hand, earlier, people from Syria did move to Germany, for example, because, well, the German government said that was a possibility. But all these people had a clear reason why they wanted to leave their mother country, because of war. And on the other hand, a lot of people from Africa tend to seek, hostage, you could say, or another reason. Why do they want to come to Europe? We don't know, because of economic motives, or because of a war, or because of politics, and we have to find out what's their reason for their movement, for their migration, and in that case, they are asylum seekers. On the other hand, there are other reasons why people want to move to a certain country. And this could be family formation or family reunification. What is that? Well, when you're talking about family formation, someone already lives in the Netherlands, and this person wants to marry someone from abroad, from a foreign country, and takes his new spouse or hers to the Netherlands. That means that a new family has been created. That is family formation. If you already had a family abroad and you moved to a certain country and started to live there, and later your wife and children came to the Netherlands as well, then we're talking about family reunification. So that means that you reunite with your family that was still living abroad. This slide is about chain migration. So what is that? Well, it's also called follow-up migration. And follow-up migration means that if the first migrant goes to a new country to live there, to work there, to get a job there, he tells his family or friends in his mother country that there's a possibility to become rich or find a job. And when they discover that they easily can get a job, of course, the second group will follow quite soon after. And there's a reason for that, because they told them that there is a possibility. If it seems difficult for the migrants to find a job or to get a working permit, the second group of migrants won't come at all. And of course, that is a help for us to see whether people are welcome or not, because in the Netherlands, of course, we do have a lot of people who came here to work and there aren't any jobs available, or we don't want them over here because of other reasons. But, of course, there are many jobs that have to be fulfilled here because we, the Dutch, do not want to do those jobs anymore. So in that case, these migrants could be helpful to help us out with the jobs that are open and are not filled with Dutch people at all. So why not? But we have to think of that. And on the graph below you can see how chain migration works, and this is all about one single immigrant admitted to the United States, that he or she has the potential to bring over a large number of foreign relatives as well. And you can see how fast that goes. Of course, these people who move to another country stay in contact with their family abroad, and this is called a migration network. So these are the existing relations between migrants and the stay-at-homes. Of course, there's an interaction between the migrants and the family and the friends, and this creates a connection between the migration country and the mother country. These people not necessarily are refugees. They can be both international students, as expats, as people who are temporarily working somewhere, who stay in touch with their friends and family abroad. So that's important to remember. All the types of migration and all the types of migrants keep in touch with their family in one way or another, and that creates the migration network. Even, for example, if you think of yourself, do you have family abroad or people who you know who are living in another country? And if you stay in contact with them, that means that there's a migration network, even when you didn't live there at all. So migration networks could be pretty broad, and you can see that on the map which shows you the links between several countries. Well, there are links everywhere to be found. So that was everything for this paragraph. I hope that you get an idea of what migration is and what happens when you are migrating. In the upcoming paragraphs we will discuss it further, and you might get an idea of reasons for people to migrate as well.